What if poverty in ancient Palestine wasn't accidental but engineered? What if the economic hardship surrounding Jesus' ministry was not just the background of history, but one of the driving forces behind everything he said and did? We often imagine first-century Palestine as a simple agrarian society, but beneath the surface was a tightly controlled economic system, crushing debt and growing inequality. Today, we'll uncover how this system formed, how it reached a breaking point, and why its echoes still shape our world. To understand the economy of Palestine during the time of Jesus, we must start with one key fact. Palestine was under Roman rule. After Pompey's conquest in 63 BCE, the region became part of the Roman imperial system. Rome didn't govern out of generosity, governed for profit. Local rulers like Herod the Great acted as client kings, enforcing Roman interests while taxing the population heavily. Money flowed upward. Peasants produced food. Tax collectors extracted revenue. Elites accumulated wealth, and Rome took its share. On the surface, the economy appeared stable, but beneath it was a fragile structure built on exploitation, debt, and fear. The foundation of Palestine's economy was agriculture. Most people were small farmers growing wheat, barley, olives, and grapes. Land meant survival, but Roman taxation policies required payment in cash, not crops. This forced farmers into the money economy, often borrowing at high interest rates to pay taxes. Over time, unpaid debts led to land loss. Small farms were absorbed into large estates owned by elites and absentee landlords. Former landowners became tenant farmers or day laborers working land they once owned. This wasn't a sudden collapse. It was a slow economic squeeze. Under Herod the Great, massive building projects transformed the landscape, ports, palaces, cities, and the expanded temple in Jerusalem. These projects stimulated the economy, but primarily benefited the elite. Laborers earned wages, but taxes increased to fund construction. A small upper-class priests, aristocrats, tax officials grew wealthy. Meanwhile, most people lived at or below subsistence level. One bad harvest could mean ruin. Economic growth existed, but it was uneven and unstable. By the early 1st century CE, debt had become widespread. Foreclosures were common. Day laborers waited in marketplaces hoping for work. Banditry increased, not always criminal, but often survived. This economic pressure created deep social tension. It's no coincidence that Jesus' teachings frequently focused on debt, wealth, forgiveness, and the poor. When he spoke of forgiving debts or warned the rich, his audience understood exactly what was at stake. Economic injustice fueled unrest. Groups like the Zealots emerged, resisting Roman taxation and elite control. Others withdrew into religious communities, believing divine intervention was the only solution. Jesus' message cut through this chaos not by calling for violent revolt, but by challenging the moral foundations of the system. His teachings threatened both religious and economic elites because they exposed the human cost of inequality. Roman reforms focused on efficiency, not justice. Local elites benefited too much to change the structure. Charity existed, but it treated symptoms, not causes. The system remained intact till tensions eventually erupted in the Jewish revolt of 66 CE, ending in destruction. Here's the shocking part. Today, the top 1% of the global population owns nearly half of the world's wealth. Household debt, land concentration, and wage insecurity mirror ancient patterns. Just like first-century Palestine, economic systems today often appear stagnant till they aren't. First, economic systems shape belief, behavior, and resistance. Second, inequality grows slowly, then suddenly becomes crisis. Third, voices calling for justice often arise from economic pain. The warning is clear: when systems prioritize extraction over fairness, instability follows. The question is not whether history repeats, but whether we recognize the pattern in time. If this changed how you see history and the present, like the video, subscribe for deeper stories and share your thoughts below, because understanding the past may be the only way to avoid repeating it.